Well, hey everybody, how are you today? I am just kind of getting things set up here. Thought we would see how the Iron Halo looks today a little bit. Just want to get my chat set up if I can. And I am going to try to do that right now. I like to just kind of, until I kind of get the hang of this, I like to kind of put one in there and just kind of make sure everything's working. So, how's everybody doing today? It's New Year's Eve day, in the morning. And I thought that I would, kind of do some Iron Halo mining today. So, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't kick the stream on and see how it looks here. But welcome. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Iron Halo mining if we can. And have a little fun. So, hey, good morning. Hey, Nomad, how are you doing, sir? Probably more mid-afternoon, maybe late afternoon for you over that way, maybe. But, yeah, and, I thought I'd actually start out today with already in the Iron Halo and already on at least a rock. I know the last stream I spent quite a bit of time looking around for something to mine, so not so much this time. We're gonna open the stream by getting kind of right into it. So, not the biggest rock in the world. I found a 4900 at 26%. This is probably around 20, between 23 and 25 SCU. Right around there. So, nothing crazy to get started today, but, something to, a little more action to get started today, kind of right in the hopper. So off we go. Oh, so 355. Gotcha there. Awesome. So, yeah, do a little mining today. At least put this one in the hopper and maybe come back out to the Iron Halo one more time. I am actually in between ARC L1 and HUR L5, and I'm about 5.2 million from ARC L1, and that's where I'm at. I snuck out to the Iron Halo, located a rock before I started the stream. Like I said, I thought it would be nice just to kind of start out mining something right off the bat instead of just flying around looking for something, and just gonna do a little bit of Iron Halo mining today. So cool thing about Iron Halo mining is none of the rocks are going to be over 5200. But the offset to that is some of the rocks won't allow you to get scan results. So that's just, that's kind of the nature of the beast with these things. Star Citizen type thing, you know what I mean? But, no big deal. One of the cool things about mining in the Iron Halo is you actually can scan from a distance. And if you can't scan from a distance, that's generally a good indicator that it's going to be one of those rocks that you can't get scan results on. A little different than surface mining with the Iron Halo is the fact that, oh, hey, no problem, man. Glad you could make it, and stay safe out there when you do go out tonight. I know that, when I go out on New Year's Eve parties, it's a mixed bag. Sometimes it's real controlled, and sometimes it gets a little crazy out there. So make sure you keep it safe out there for sure. But as I was saying, every time on Lyria or some surface mine, if you hang around the rock long enough, it's gonna pop. There are absolutely what are called dead rocks in the Iron Halo for sure, with those dead rocks, I mean, there's nothing. I found no workaround for getting them to eventually scan them, and so you just have to kind of learn how to cut your losses. So one of the cool things about and one of the cool scanning elements here, once you've broken down a rock into that first break, you certainly know if there's going to be anything in that rock or not in that rock, based on the fact of the green optimal window. If you see a great big green optimal window, there's going to be nothing in that thing. And, you'll see is the ones that have a little bit in it, it'll be a much thinner optimal window. See how thin the optimal window is there? And that's at a 50%er right down there. You got to try to make a mental note. I used to remember these scan results, but it doesn't always remember the scan results like it used to. And I'm sure that's something they're going to work out in the future. So there's that one there has 33%. So we've got a 48%er, we've got a 33%er. Take a look at what we have here. This is going to have nothing in it. You can see because that big cheese wedge, Anyways, pretty successful day yesterday mining. I think I have a little over 300 SCU cooking right now, and so that's the 99%er. So it's going to be these three that they're going to have something. There's the one that's half. There's one that's a third, and so that's we'll kind of swing around here a little bit and deal with it. That's the other nice thing about the Iron Halo is just kind of pretty easy to dips and doodles around the things you're going to mine, and easy to handle for sure. So we'll get into an optimal range. Now I will drop brants on these things. I have no problem doing that. It's too much money on the line not to just burn a consumable. Occasionally if you want to have a little fun or whatever, you don't have to do that, but pretty small rock here, 334 mass, so you definitely don't want to put a lot of laser intensity into that guy. Notice the brant, it flattened out the instability considerably. It's down to 0.48, very manageable. This is going to be a fairly easy break. The one thing about the brants is it does slow down the brakes a little bit, but you know what? It's a very controlled process, and that's the most important thing, I think. It's a little more animated today, obviously New Year's, and have some family around, and a busy day today. So not a terribly long stream today, but you know what? I wanted to get a little bit of mining in the Iron Halo, and so that's what we're doing. So this next one's a 48%er. So one of the things that I did is, if you noticed, when I broke this rock down, there was a 33%er, a 48%er, and a 99%er. And notice I'm going to break down the lowest percentages first. So I broke down the 33%er, now I'm breaking down the 48%er. And then I will break down the 99%er. And then I'll extract in just the opposite. So, when you have 100% Quantanium rock, and I'm probably about to lose the brand if I look closely over here. 3, 2, 1, yep. She had been running there for a long time. Fire off another one. Yeah, so you kind of want to break down the rocks lowest to biggest percentages from the yellows to the purples. But then when you're extracting, you want to kind of just do the opposite. So that last rock you break down, that's the 100%er. You know that every rock in there, you're not even going to need to put a scanner on too much for the most part. You're going to be able to just extract all those ones, and then you work your way to the one that was half mass, and then you work your way to the one that was third mass. And so that's I think this was the 100%er over here. Notice also, just if you noticed one thing I did there, which was I just popped. I just kind of, sometimes when it doesn't scan right away, if you just tap the laser and turn it off, it will actually redraw the scan results. So yeah, this one is the 99%er here. I'm going to swing out around and get a little closer again. The great thing about the Iron Halo is you can just, kind of really work your way in on all these minables and just kind of, so I know when I break this guy down, because it's 99%, that I'm scooping everything here. So, still have a little bit of time left on my brand. I probably will fire a third one. Once again, it's just something you do. Hey, Zone, what's happening? Welcome back, sir. How are you? How you been? Doing good. Doing good. Doing a little mining today. Did a lot of mining yesterday. Doing a little more mining today. Thought I would just, come out to the Iron Halo a little bit and see if we couldn't break a rock or two down. So Found, kind of started the stream today on a rock already. So thought it might be interesting just to begin the stream kind of mining instead of kind of looking this time. So, it's not high octane content as it is, mining in Star Citizen. So you might want to start out mining sometimes anyways. Sometimes doing learning the scanning mechanics and all that's fun, but I don't know, flying around on Lyria for 43 minutes looking for rocks to, isn't necessarily all that high energy, so we're having a little fun with it today. So yeah, there was a 33%er, a 48%er, and a 99%er. I broke them down, the 33 first, the 48 second, the 99 third. As soon as this guy is broke down, then I'm going to extract. I am in between ARC L1 and HURL. I probably should break this rock here. Not paying attention, thinking about kind of more chatting than anything. But no big deal. We'll get this guy. But I am, like in the air and Halo in between ARC L1. I think it's HURL something 1 maybe 3. Can't remember. I think it's HURL 3. We'll flatten this guy out and look here for a second. Sweet. Glad to hear that, man. Zona saying that he just mined his first Quantanium today. That is awesome. I remember that first load I took in, man. My heart was pounding. It is a scary thing when it's that first one. You're just kind of like, oh, am I gonna make it? It can be a bit of a panicked thing. So. But after you do it for a while, you kind of realize there's a lot of time in there. Yeah, the most important thing is to make good decisions, not get too crazy, and bring it home safely. So on my, I have the Lancet, the size 1 Lancet. I have 3 Brants. Now that's maybe not the most standard load. It's the one that I like to use. When you come to the air and Halo, there are never any rocks that you need to worry about being too big of a mass. In space, for whatever reason, Star Citizen being what it is, rocks that you can mine are only ever at the most maximum mass is 5,200. So I've got a question from Woe. Is it worth to buy the mole for 2 people Lyria quant mining? You know what? I just did this yesterday with one of my really good friends. Super great guy, really good on the laser. Absolutely. It's 100 times funner. The mole, don't get me wrong, you can solo in it. It's a little tedious for my taste. And I used to solo in it quite a bit, but it just kind of got to the point where, heck, I'll just take a prospector if I need to solo. But you get in one other guy, it exponentially gets funner with. And some people say, oh, it's a waste if you have 3 on, or three on the lasers on board. I disagree. So yeah, what you're asking is, would you buy it a mole if you just had 1 extra person? You bet I would. I think that the mole is fun, and I do think with 2 people, you can. If you have a couple of Lancets on there, it's easy breaks. I definitely recommend you might want to go with a Surge or 2 on there. But yeah, I would absolutely buy the mole for just 2 people and wouldn't even think twice about it. So yeah, I thought I said that this was going to be somewhere between 23 and 25 SCU, and it looks like that's where we're headed. I don't know what this last one is. We'll go ahead and take a look. I thought it was there's 13% in there, and I've got the headroom, so we'll see if this gets us up over 23, or if I was wrong. Hey, just over 23. Oh, and there's this guy here. What do we got here? Let's see if all right, this is pretty much a nerd. I don't think there's anything else here, so we are going to work our way in. So yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch from mouse and keyboard to sticks. I use HOSAS when I fly around, but I just use mouse and keyboard. Yeah, man, the mole's a great ship. We had 2 65 SCUs yesterday, and 1 70. So we did 3 runs in the mole, and we didn't get a unicorn or anything, but we put 150 SCU in the hopper. There was 2 of us in the mole at first, and we finished out the night with 3. And I'll tell you what, when you can just pilot and you have a couple guys on the laser, holy crap, that know what they're doing, that's a good time. I mean, first of all, it's not high octane. You can sit back, crack a beer or relax a little bit. Just you have one guy calling the lasers on the mole. It really is one of the funnest ways to, to mine when you have a couple of good hands on the mole. But even if it's just the two of you, you'll love it. It's I think exponentially, I think the mole is great. Now I do wish, quite honestly, there were like 1,300 pound whatever. 13,000, not 1,300, 13,000 pound rocks that only the mole could crack, or 15,000 pounders. But you know what? Last night we nailed an 80. I think it was. I have a screenshot. I think it was either 84 or 8,600 pounds. It was at 49%. I think it was 4,400. So it was like an 80 SEU rock, one rock, 80 SEU. And but some of it broke and fell under the planet, but I still think we hauled close to 70 away in that thing. By the time I paid my refining tax, it was still like 67 SEU. I'll show you when we get in here. I've got a bunch of jobs cooking right now. So we've got this, I think we've got around 26 SCU on the deck right now. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and bring this in. We'll get it landed, and I will run in and do the refining here. So, hey, I'm getting a question from Evans. Evans is asking, hello, about the mole, especially in the Iron Halo. I highly recommend it for single player. You know what? I would agree with that for sure. If you are going to solo the mole, there's no question that in space it's way more forgiving. Absolutely would agree with that 100%. And I have done plenty of solo mining in the mole, and it is absolutely doable. For my taste, it got, after I did it a bunch, and don't get me wrong, I think there's a difference between when the server first wipes and you're hungry, and when you're sitting on 5 or 6 or 7 million. It does get a little tedious for my taste, but that's not to knock. I can definitely understand why a hungry miner would take the mole out into the air in Halo or someplace in space and solo that thing, because when you do run into those opportunities to get more SCU on board, it's fantastic. I definitely have gone back to soloing in the Prospector, but I don't knock any person for having more hustle than than I do. You can absolutely solo in the mole, and when you do, I couldn't agree more that in space it's going to be the most forgiving to do. So, very good point, Evans. Point taken for sure. So, yeah, this is us heading into Arc L1 to put this load down here. I'll call the station here in just a sec. And we've got 26 SCU on board. The first timer hasn't gone off, so we're doing lovely. Sometimes it's weird you get in here and these things are already kind of popped. We'll give it a yell and see what happens. Now, one thing that I do, and it's just kind of a almost muscle memory, is right after I call, I immediately VTOL in gear. It's just kind of one of those muscle memory things that happens for me. But that's just, hey, that's just kind of what happens after you fly 400 or 500 of these particular missions. So want to come in, and bring it in soft, set it down on the, put it down on the deck, reasonable. Absolutely. I mean, if certainly, and so what Woe was asking is about cargo hauling. The C2 has, I think it's 699 cargo. That's going to be by far the best cargo hauler in the game. I do sometimes cargo haul in the Taurus. Now, don't get me wrong, the profits are not nearly as good, but 174 is respectable, and so that's not necessarily a bad place. But no question, the king of the hills, the C2, the Hercules C2 with the 699 is by far the best. So we still haven't gotten first buzzer yet here. I've got another questions come in, or maybe a comment. That 80 SCU rock. that particular ADSCU rock, where was it at? Good question. It was on Lyria, and that's where we were mining last night. And yeah, man, it was a 80. You're in the Aaron Halo. You're never going to get a rock that's that size, right? The maximum size is 5,200. So in a mole, one good thing about Lyria, I am mentioning to most of the miners who kind of, if you log in and pay attention, one of the changes since 3.16 is every single time you see 2 rocks or more on Lyria, it's always Quantanium. Now, it had been always Quantanium in clusters, and a high percentage of the doubles or Geminis or 2 rocks were before, a high percentage of them were Quantanium. Now, out of maybe, when I've looked, last night I must have looked at 100 pairs of 2 rocks, and only one time was it not Quantanium. So, it's a Quantanium field day right now on Lyria, and it has been really for a few patches. That's not really news. The one thing that's changed about the meta is even if you see 2 rocks where you're flying along and 2 rock icons pop up close to each other, fly on in there, give them a scan. That's going to be Quantanium almost always. And then, of course, then every cluster you find, every time we send out scouts sometimes, and all they do is just fly around and look for a cluster. They're not even bothering to stop and look at everything. So yeah, Lyria is a good place. I mean, especially when you're going to go mole mining, you can run across those great big guys, and I have that screenshot somewhere. It was a big guy. I'll actually see if I can. It'll probably be a little wonky getting out of the game. I will see if I can show you guys that screenshot. It'll look a little. It'll look a little weird getting out of the game, but probably worth looking at, man. That was a special rock. So down to the refinery we go. We're gonna cook this stuff that we just found. Sometimes I like to kind of just double check on the ship. It's always good use of your time. Sometimes is looking at your utility items there. I still am good on my brands. I haven't ran out of any. Out we go. It's a good question. Certainly, Lyria, whenever you're mining on a moon surface, you certainly are more open to piracy. That's absolutely for sure. With the meta being every time it's 2 rocks, or every time it's a cluster, it's always Quantanium. One thing that you do have is you have, some anonymity in the fact that you do not need to active ping at all. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. If you're not active pinging, you're certainly a lot less of you exposed on there. I thought I did a little better than 20. Oh no, it's just over 23. That's right. So we're gonna do the Dynex there and get quote and send it. So yeah, let's take a look at some of the, you could see yesterday, pretty good work. This is a uni, almost. I think these are unis, actually. You can see they're both 3039s. On ARC L1, you pay a heavier tax than you do on CRU L1 because the 5% offset for Quantanium. So Evans is saying, never mind on a mole single planet side. We had yesterday. It's a very good point. A lot of times in our mole operations, in our organization operations, we definitely have. I had some Overwatch. Now that Overwatch isn't designed to say, destroy anybody who's coming after us, but they are an early alarm system, and they can just kind of be a pest. And then of course we hit an OM marker and get the heck out of there. The other thing that we do is if you on Lyria, if you're dayside mining. The good news is there's lots of markers, especially even ARC L1, there's markers to get out of there. So there's no question if you're looking for anonymity or you're concerned about pirates, 100% I would agree, that the Aaron Halos, you're tucked away in a place no one's ever going to find you. So anyways, you can see I had a couple of back-to-back, almost back-to-back unicorns in the prospector yesterday. And then I had a 20 in there. Now let's take a look at some of the bigger jobs if we can. This thing has actually been a little grumpy lately about sliding over. Sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. There we go. Nope, it's actually... Here, I'll jump on the other one and just slide it over all the way. Okay, so yeah, you can see here's a couple of the big jobs we did. There's a 68, there's a 65. Yeah, this thing's not sliding. It's being grumpy about sliding. There's a 49. So yeah, I mean we did real good yesterday. I mean, we did couple of nice mole runs there. And I think one of these, especially the 68, was over a 70 SCU. The 65 was a high 60 SCU, and then we had a 50 SCU, and then the one I just loaded on board. So yeah, quite a bit of rocks cooking right there, and a couple of them done. So the nice news is I have some wiggle room. 174 SCUs. The Taurus is what I kind of cargo haul with. I don't always take the Taurus and fill it right up to the maximum. Once in a blue moon, I'll just kind of maybe put 100 SCU in there. And so another question coming in, where is the best place to sell quant that's relatively close to Lyria? Here's what I do. I fly over to Bajini Point. I'll take my hauler from Arc L1 to Bajini Point, land there, and then once I'm on Bajini, I just take a skiff down to Area 18. So I don't actually fly my Quantanium into Area 18. I fly my Quantanium from Arc L1 to Bajini Point. It's a very short one jump, and then you have to kind of, you do have to go around the OM marker. Sometimes it's a single jump right to Bajini, but once you're on Bajini, then you can take a skiff down. In a skiff, I bought an Aurora specifically for that purpose, and I also do have a Pisces. Both those pull in under a minute from any, so I don't have anything on those things special. I just claim them wherever I am. So cargo, even when I do cargo hauling, I never take my, I don't have a C2, but when we do organizational cargo hauling, that type of thing, we never take that stuff planet side. We always go to the orbital station. If it's Bajini, it might be Everest Harbor, it might be Port Alisar, or it might be Port Tressler. You land your load on on there, and then take a smaller craft down. That's what we always do. So if you take a look here, I will show you. I have this right there, the Aurora ES. That guy right there, if I click claim on him here, which I'm happy to do, you can see its claim time is 30 seconds. So it's not slowing me down when I land on there. I can cruise, I can pull this guy out, cruiser down to Area 18 and sell there. So that's where I sell from Arc L1. Zone is saying some rocks I can scan. Does that mean I can't scan? Okay, you're going to run into dead rocks. If you're in the air in Halo specifically, or in space, sometimes they'll never give you the scan results. If you are on a planet surface, you just need to kind of wait a little bit for a server to tick. I tend to find that maybe flying down really close to them and backing out, something to just kind of, if you wait. I've only ever had to drive away from one set of rocks on the planet surface that would just not scan result. But for the most part, if you wait around a long time on the planet surface, it will always get to the spot where you can get the scan results. But not always. It can take a little while. But in space, there are what are called dead rocks. That's what they're called, dead rocks. There's nothing you can do, regardless what you do. They'll never give you scan results. So some other things have come in. How do you calculate how many SCU you get from a refinery? So you can, it shows you on there what it is if you have 3,200 on board, that's 32 SCU. So if you have like when you hit the drop down, it will show you how much space you have left on your ship. Now, when you first begin prospecting, most people just have like a Cuddy Black or something, or will rent a Cuddy Black. So that's kind of a 1-to-1, and here's what I mean by that. I think the Cuddy Black maybe hauls 46. So if you get a 32 SCU Quantanium, or you get 30 SCU of Quantanium, and then you get another 30 SCU of Quantanium, and you refine it, and it's like 28 and 28 or something, you're never going to fit that on one Cuddy. So, you have to kind of, for every time you do a prospector run, you have to haul it with the Cuddy. That's the reason why eventually, I recommend maybe jumping up to like a Freelancer Max, which is 122 SCU it can haul, or a Connie Taurus, which is a really good option at 174. I like the Connie Taurus because she's a bit of a beast. I mean, it's got a lot of hit points. It's good shields, some good forward fire power. It's not just a lame duck, you know what I mean? You're at least a little bit of a tough nut to crack to get out of there, if you happen to have 100 SCU that you're hauling on board. So a couple more things have come in, this is great. I really appreciate. I love talking about this stuff. I really do. So I really appreciate the questions. So you don't actually take my whoa, you don't. No, I actually, on my channel, I have a cell from orbit. Like, I have a video. What was asking is like, hey, what do you mean I don't have to fly all the way down to the planet and sell? No, currently you don't. You can land on the orbital stations and take a skiff down. Yeah, that's a good tip to know, man. That'll save you lots of time and trouble. Evans, if I didn't answer your question, let me know. But yeah, when you hit in the refinery, if you hit the drop down, you're choosing your ship. It will show you how much SCU is left for you to put on there, and so and how much you're putting on there. So I can go back and we can run back down there, and I can show you that if you need a little more visual context. So hey, a Phenomenia, great name. It says how many times my cargo ship blows up for some reason or another. And it's such a headache with a greater than 100 SCU. That's one of the reasons why I choose, it's a very short path. Look, I'm on Arc L1. It's a very short path to ArcCorp, and then from there it's a very short orbital around to get to Bajini. There are sometimes you can set Bajini as a route and it will actually go right there, but most of the time it's to ArcCorp. It's just an orbital or two, or maybe the comm array. You hit Bajini. It's a space landing. You get your cargo hauler stored, then you grab your skiff, your Aurora ES, your Pisces, whatever, your Mustang, whatever your starter ship was. Fly that little guy down. It's much more nimble. If you happen to crash into the planet side or get a server desync, your stuff is safe as soon as you store it at that orbital station. There's no tip you take out of. That's that one that say now there are lots of people who will come on and honestly say, hey man, I have no problem. I just fly down to the planet's surface and sell. And if that's no problem for you, great. I mean, go do that. It definitely does save you a trip. But I honestly think it's a conservative, safe way is to land on an orbital station, fly a skiff down, and sell it. I do. So cool. So we've already we've been out to the air in Halo. We've gotten one in the basket here. We're gonna go ahead and take a look. I'm gonna we're going to fly back out to the air in Halo one other time. Oops. Oh, I was going to show you guys, and I don't know how this is going to go. So I was going to show you guys this screenshot. So this would be a good time to do that. If I just go to live here, you guys get to see all the things you're probably not supposed to. I think it's live, and oh yeah, screenshots. Let's see if I can find the screenshot from yesterday. Would have been maybe this last one. I hope it's this last one. So yeah, there it is. It'll pop up here for you guys in just a second. This is us in the mole. It was an 84-28. An 84-28 mass at 49.36%. What an excellent haul. I mean, this guy was a beast. That's a lot of Quantanium. And the way that works is if you take 8,400 and you divide it by 2, you've got, your 4,200, and then, 4,200, that's a lot of Quantanium. When you've got when there's like 4,200 mass of Quantanium, is a lot. So yeah, that's that guy. I thought I'd show that to you. We'd have a little fun with that. So anyways, yeah, back to the game. That was that one was special, you guys. That's a unicorn. We actually have a little in-org contest where, it's actually starting tomorrow, to see the biggest rock you can see with the most Quantanium in it. And we honestly think that might have been a contender, We're going to run that all year long. We're going to run that, and I actually might do something on the channel with that, if you send a screenshot. We'll maybe build like a spreadsheet with a screenshot on there of the biggest rocks, and whoever, maybe I'll put 500,000 up or something, whoever sends me one. But I was going to run the thing all year long, and certainly the meta could change significantly. So, we never know what's going to happen. But anyways, I'm going to do a little pre-flight. Sometimes I get to jabber in here and I lose my kind of what I'm up to. So, no big deal. So I want to make sure, just so everybody knows here, this is I have a couple prospectors. I have Prospector 1, Prospector 2. They're almost as they're set up more or less the same now. But I do sometimes specialize Prospector 2 with a couple of surges and a stampede if I want to try and break big rocks on a planet surface individually. But here I have, the main thing I have is I have the Atlas drive. There's absolutely nothing. The Atlas is a good all-arounder. There's absolutely nothing if you're doing short-range prospecting. You're doing short-range stuff and you don't need the distance. The VK00 is a great drive. Also, the Rush is a great drive. But I do like the Atlas, the versatility. Sometimes I end up having to, go a little bit further. And this is kind of the best all-arounder, I think. I do happen to have, some paint on this thing. That's not that big of a deal. And then I do have the Lancet MH1 and just 3 brands. And so I just wanted to double check that the brands were on board and just do a little bit. You always want to kind of check. The last thing you want to do is get out there and realize you don't have your stuff. So it's just kind of one of those muscle memory type, mental memory things that you want to do a little pre-flight before you pull your prospector. So she's on pad 2. And we are just I just want to show you guys how to, how to fly out to the air and halo. Most of you guys probably know how to do that. But we'll fly out to the air and halo and have a little fun with it. So, pad 2. I'm going to get a little sip of coffee here. So yeah, it's New Year's tonight. Older guy myself, we don't do a whole lot of partying. So usually the kids come over, or the kids come over, and we just kind of hang out with them and let them go be young, and we just kind of have the kids and be safe. So a couple questions come in. Zone says, does CRUL1 give me a bonus on Quintanium? Oh, it does. It's a 5% bonus, best in the game. CRUL1 is the best place to bring your Quantanium for refining. It almost offsets the entire cost of the refining. So yes, absolutely. Now CRUL1 is basically my second home. I mean, for the most part, now that I have the organization stuff set up, we do find consistently Lyria just has better, because every 2 rocks in every cluster, and I do tend to find, I do a lot of soloing, but I do a lot more just with 2 or 3 of us together. And so we do find Lyria's a little more consistent, but as a solo miner, CRUL1's the best place to fly out of, unequivocally. And and I do know people that have take moles. One person mentioned to me they absolutely fly to CRUL1 with their mole with an XL1 in it from Lyria. The offset's too good. You think a 5% bump on a big old mole, that's a lot. I mean, we're leaving some money on the table, for convenience, and you don't necessarily have to do that. Evan says location is the most thing. Yeah, definitely you want to have the best location looking for Quantanium. Couldn't agree more with that. And so we are going to go ahead and I'm going to just set a course for HURL 5. Now we are going to drop out. You'll see here, I'll show you as we, let's see, I'll raise the gear, we'll fly out, we'll kind of get orientated. And we'll just kind of head over to the air in Halo. And not a lot of people, most everybody knows kind of how to do this, so it's not that crazy of a deal, but you know, it's never a bad thing to maybe get kind of a live demonstration. So, you know, you can see HURL 3 is 13.5 away. I know from experience, and you can write these things down, and there are charts all over the internet, you know, about where to drop out. I'm going to drop out 8.3 or 8.2 away from HURL 5. So I'm going to go ahead and just fire it off, and we'll fall out of it. We'll fall out of it there. So yeah, any day on Star Citizen you can do a little mining, relax and do a little mining. It's a good day. So I just want to thank you. You know, all of you who have decided to join today. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I love chatting about theory crafting for Star Citizen mining stuff. I do a ton of mining. You know, and it's not necessarily, like I said, the most high octane content. But I do like to do that. I actually hand mined till I could afford the ROC. Then I ROC mined till I could afford the Prospector. And I Prospector till I could afford the Mole. And then I actually went back and purchased some things for real, and you know, after I did that. But I definitely felt like I should earn them on a progression loop first. And was really kind of pleased that through all the bugs and trouble and everything, you know, you can do that. It's a run you can make. And so... anyways, we're keeping an eye here. We're going to drop out once again at 8.3. In between 8.3 and 8.2. So, kind of watching it here. And we are dropping now. Yeah, and so we're in the Halo, not the thickest part of it, but you know something? You don't necessarily have to be in the thickest part of it. And the good news is we're anonymous, right? No one, for somebody to find us in this little neck of the woods, it's almost next to impossible. So, yeah, what was saying 8,300 mass, 20% rock. That's a great rock. See, you're gonna have 200 mass for every 1,000. So 2 times 8 is 1,600 mass. That's 32 SCU, not even throwing the 333 on the end of it. So, yeah, that's a if you could crack that with the Prospector, that would be a unicorn Prospector amount. 8,300's up there though. Even with 2 surges and an Optimum, or 2 surges and a Stampede, I'm not sure you can crack an 8,300. You might be able to if you do that second surge and put it into the red and kind of pucker the seat a little bit, you know, but yeah, that would be a tough one. So yeah, good scans right off the bat. You know, looks like there's a lot of stuff in the area. We're going to go ahead and start looking around for something else to mine. You know, my goal is to maybe mine one more node today. And just kind of see how it goes. And so here's one of the things I do like about Air and Halo mining is the scanner works at a distance. I think that there are some geography blocks. This time it's proven me wrong, but it does sometimes work at a distance. I should never be that. It's never a wise idea to be that sure yourself. It sometimes works at a distance, and so. You know, in that case, when it doesn't, if it did scan at least, though, you know that if you kind of get in here with your mining laser and do a deeper scan on it, you're going to get something. So, yeah, Evans is talking about different places and opinions. Ooh, look at that, we kind of flew by that guy. That's kind of one of the dangers I'm learning in streaming is, you know, I'm not so, you know, I'm trying to be, you know, engaged, and I don't pay that great of attention, you know, in some cases, and get myself in a jam. Now, the good news is I never fly right at a rock. Now, that's actually probably a good lesson for young miners too. never fly right at a rock. You know what I mean? If you fly right at a rock, there's a good chance you're going to run into a rock. I mean, that's just the long and short of it. You know what I mean? So if you fly kind of offset of a rock, even if you happen to kind of, you know, have one of those moments where somebody's talking to you or you're looking away, you know, you're not going to necessarily smash the rock. You'll see me kind of be offset. So Evans is asking, hey, am I using head tracking? I'm not using head tracking. You know, my setup is just, right now I'm using mouse and keyboard. I do fly with HOSAS, 2 sticks. They're VKB Gladiators. But when I do industrial stuff, for the most part, I fly mouse and keyboard. Now, here's one of the interesting phenomenon I see sometimes with, where if you look at, if I take the mining laser off, the rock disappears, but if I put the head back on, it's there. Interesting phenomenon there, so. You know, good question. Phenom is asking, hey, are there any good graphic settings that can take some of the eye strain off? Nothing that I found really specifically that deals with that. It's a great question, it really is. This is a P-type, so this isn't a Quantanium. And so I haven't found any specific graphic settings. I do like the contrast is a little better on in space, but yeah, it's definitely, there's definitely a lot of flares and glares and things like that that can definitely cause some eye strain. There used to be, when you used to scan, it used to create this huge grid, and that actually could really cause some eye strain too. So it's a little better than it used to be, but the contrast and some of the stuff, they need to kind of sort out the contrast and those kinds of things. I think that's, that's not a hot take. A lot of people know that. But yeah, I mean, the UIs, it definitely has its moments or whatever. So we're out in the Halo, we're looking around. I'm going to kind of give that guy a visual. That no orange marbling on that guy, and off we go. Yeah, I mean, I know sometimes it's weird with the Prospector. Occasionally I have that issue too, where like it doesn't, like, when you're in the cockpit, it seems like you're way mushed up against the UI in the Prospector. I've had that a couple of times, and I don't really know what causes that, or what will make it so it doesn't happen. Yeah, look at this. It's kind of getting some funkiness where, like, if I turn that mining laser off, I don't know. Air and Halo can be sometimes pretty funny for some of that kind of stuff. So we're gonna mess around a little bit more. If we keep seeing that consistently, I'll jump, a good, 20 km or something, and then come out, or whatever. I'll just initiate a jump and come out of it pretty quickly, and we'll take a look if that continues to be a thing. So yeah, getting a question. Let me go ahead and I'll show you kind of how I have myself set up. Oh, it's not F1, it's Escape. If we look at options here, and we look at graphics, I do play at 1440p. I stream at 1080. I tried to stream at 1440p, but it was too pixelated. So I was like, I can't do that. I do full screen. I do very high quality. My terrain tessellation's high. My volumetric is medium. I do have my field of view to 100. I turn off motion blur. Sharpening, chromatic, and film grain are all no's for me. V-Sync's a no for me. These are the settings that I found to be the most, the best for me, and I think that's a little bit subjective. Obviously people, with different systems or whatever will have different, like, hey, that's a cluster. Now the question is anything that's clustering over there, is it Quantanium? That's always the question. Oh, it does scan. That's a good thing. And let's look. Hey, that's a Quantanium cluster. That's a good thing. So let's go over there and we'll scan all these rocks and we, see if we can get lucky. This is what, this is kind of what you're looking for. I mean, now that doesn't guarantee that there's going to be something in here worth mining, but it certainly can. The probability just went up fairly significantly. So let's go ahead. We'll begin kind of getting these guys, setting these guys apart and scanning them a little bit. This is a max size rock. That's just a 2%er. I think the first one I scanned was a 2%er as well. So we're just going to kind of go through these from right to left. What do we have here? So cool. Yeah, we found a nice little cluster here. That's another 2%er. We're just, the good news with the prospector, we're just looking for one of these that's got something in it worth a hoot. There's another 2%er. And this guy's not going to have much in it. There's another 2%er. Ooh. Nice Q-type. Now this might have a little more, but it's not great. Nope, that's 3%. Ooh. And that's 2%. Oh, too bad. This cluster was a bust. It's a bust. It's one of those things. It happens. And, you can't let it discourage you. It's just, mining's a lot like fishing. You know what? You go fishing, sometimes you get on the fish. You go mining, sometimes you get on the rock, sometimes you don't. And that's not the first cluster that I drove away from, and it won't be the last. So, flying out here, looking around. Oh, what the heck? Here's another little cluster. Welcome to the Iron Halo. That's fun. Let's see here. We'll kind of get up close here and get a. Now this one doesn't. It's not scanning, so these are going to be dead rocks. You watch. I'll pull out the laser and we'll get close, but see how they won't. When they won't, it doesn't matter if you can get the results or not. When they will scan, right off the bat they're not dead rocks. So when they are dead rocks, look, you can see I'll get close to these guys. There's nothing I will do to pull these guys out of the fire. And that is a little bit different than the surface mining, and that's no big deal. And you can see, yeah, they're just. These are dead rocks. These are the official. If you look up dead rocks in V's book of mining, these are the ones that are sitting on that page. These are it. So, oh boy. So a cluster with nothing and 3 dead rocks, no problem. We'll keep it moving, and that's okay. Alright, let's see what we got next here. Yeah, you can see right away, I put my scanner on it and it began to scan. Now, sometimes you don't get the results, which is okay. But now if I move in closer and pull out the mining laser, they're there. It did do a scan. It just, I don't know, sometimes the UI is blocked. But if I pull out the mining laser, you can see if I get on this thing, it's already got the results on it. And you got to find the exact right spot on the rock sometimes, which is a little, I don't know. This is an M type, so it's not a Quantanium at all. So we'll just move on. So getting, Star Citizen, it's kind of like having an old car. There are little idiosyncrasies that little things that you learn, little things, it's like that old car you used to have where you wiggle the key and, tap dance with your left foot on the brake, and all of a sudden, you get the headlights to work. Star Citizen has a few of those things. So when you mine, it's like that. So, question came in. Phenom is asking, hey, what about microtech as a place to surface mine? Here's my experience, and I do. Microtech has one area that seems to be reasonable. It's that one area that's like constantly in the sun. It's a little bit more moderate area. I definitely, but the one thing that I have found about all of those moons over there, Microtech, Calliope, Euterpe, and Clio, I think is the other one. Every one of those, this is just some conundrum. Every one of those has a lot of surface wind. And so it is, I mean, even for an old hat miner like me, a guy who has a couple hundred hours in the Prospector, it gets annoying. I mean, it's like it gets annoying being blown around constantly. And that may have changed, but when I was doing some testing, I haven't been out there since 3.16, but when I was doing some 3.15 testing, like it was blowing my mind. Here's another one of those kind of turn on the mining laser, turn it off kind of thing, and you can't see the thing. But yeah, so you can certainly find excellent nodes on Microtech moons. Couple of things. The Air Halo is a long ways from Microtech. I think it's like 20 million. And then, between that and the kind of the surface areas, I don't do a lot of mining over in Microtech. Even though I tried to do some mining over in Microtech because our org kind of set our home base over there. CRUL1 or ArcL1, I tend to find are better places for me to fly out of. This is some tungsten. So, yeah, we've kind of gotten into the Air and Halo thing now, right? Where you've just got to fly around and find stuff. It's kind of why I opened the stream on a rock already. Once you kind of get out here, you don't get me wrong, I came across a cluster, it just didn't have anything in it. So it's not like I didn't find things to mine, they just didn't have the percentages in there. So you start getting into that game where it's like, how long is it going to take to find something? And this is where, if you're, say, on the surface of Lyria, you can just get in a fast, just go fast. And then just, if it's 2, stop. If it's a cluster, stop. Now that's a 2%er. This is a twin out here. Sometimes you get lucky with these. I'll go ahead and pull the laser out. And we'll get in here and take a look. So anyways, getting back to Microtech, from an efficiency standpoint, I don't like Microtech as much. Now, from a beauty standpoint, it's absolutely gorgeous to mine there. But just getting blown around on the wind is like, dang, I don't like this. This is crazy. So that's the 2%er. This is the other one here that's going to scan out for us. And we're looking for anything that's going to get us north of 15 SCU. Ooh, that could be good. This is a good rock. Okay, so this will be the one we mine here. This will be the one we mine here. So this is 330 mass for every 1,000, and there's 5 of those thousands are darn close. So 3 times 5 is 1,500. So that there's north of 30 SCU in this thing. And we have a mass calculator, and I could go right to the calculator and calculate it, but I just kind of do a rough estimate in my head. This tells me that this is going to be over 30 SCU. Now, the one thing I do in the Air and Halo, which I don't know that everybody does, but I try and put the sun at my back. I like kind of cracking with the sun at my back, not necessarily. And now I'll move in on it a little bit and get in the range here, and we'll take a look. What? Is my gear down? It was. I didn't know that. I must have hit N instead of M one of these times. That's funny. I seen it in my shadow. My gear was down. So yeah, off we go. We're just gonna kind of get in here. I like to get in, somewhere around, I don't know, 10 meters or so is fine. Obviously it's, effective ranges. As long as you're in the optimal, you're fine. And we're going to kind of put a charge level into this thing. Now, it is a 5,000 mass with a lot of Quantanium in it. So, it's going to take a moment. So we're just going to build some charge level into this thing, crack it. We got lots of brands on board. We're going to go ahead and break this guy down. We're going to put, you know, we're just going to follow all the standard protocols we normally follow. It's just, I always think this is the best example, and don't get me wrong, I'm always, if anybody ever says to me, hey, there's a better way to do this, and they show me a better way, I'll tip my hat to them. I never think I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I definitely, have a lot of hours on the laser, a lot of hours mining in the prospector, a lot of hours mining in the mole, just a lot of mining hours, and I've developed a pretty good process, I think, up to this point, and I enjoy mining, and I go mining almost every day in Star Citizen, so I thought I would just start broadcasting these and showing everybody, like I said, it's not the most high octane content, but I love Q&A, so keep, any of those questions, you guys can keep them coming. I'm happy to answer them for you. And, Alright, so this guy's building a little bit slow, and that's no big deal. We can deal with that. One thing I kind of, when you put your ship back, when you put the back of the ship, when you're in the air in Halo or you're in space, and you have the option to put the back of your ship to the sun, then you can actually sometimes get it in a way where you can put the optimal window in your own shadow and create contrast, and that is a very... It helps. I mean, look, it's real sharp at that point. You can see, you're not struggling to see the optimal window there. The other thing is you just don't have the sun in your eyes, which is great. A lot of people don't realize, if all of a sudden you're starting to get chased and you're a little freaked out, like by a pirate or something, flying directly into the sun is always never a bad idea. And then, you can always kind of turn on your... go maximum, go as fast as you can, boost up to that speed, fly directly into the sun, and then, you can always then decouple and deal with it that way. But, heading into the sun, believe it or not, even in Star Citizen, even in the year 2951 or whatever it is, it's still a pretty good way to kind of keep somebody's, focus down. Now, having the presence of mind to do that when you're, is a different thing. That, that's... I can't say that I will always have that either. So I haven't fired a Brant, you'll probably notice. It is a 2.13 instability. Sometimes I like to at least monkey around with these initial breaks, not firing a Brant. Because, for whatever reason, they're just not quite usually as jumpy when they're full mass like this one is. But I will fire a Brant for every other thing that we bring. So yeah, so there's our first break. And so here, you want to go right to left, up, bottom to top, something. You want to pick a direction. This is going to have nothing in it. You can see a large green cheese wedge there for optimal. And that's good. Whenever you find, things that don't have stuff in them, that's a good sign. So that's an 88%er, okay? Because that means it just broke better. You don't want 10% in everything. There's nothing in this one. So those two have nothing. So you have the 3 on top, and there's that 1 on the bottom left. This has nothing. So good. So we've really got 3 rocks to break down that are going to have something in it. Potentially, that has something in it. That's a 100%er. Good. And that is going to be kind of... Okay, so really all this is... Am I seeing this correct? Well, first of all, let me say for the record, I've never seen a 100% Borace break. That's an interesting situation. That is a 334-pound 100% Borace. I've never seen that before. And so I am going to break that down and take that with me because, hey, Borace is actually pretty good. I mean, that's actually... that's 6 SCU of Borace. So that's nothing to sneeze. Borace is actually a fairly decent thing. That actually is really shocking to me, and actually it makes me happy. I mean, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. So we have this 100%er and we have this 88%er. So we're going to start down here, right? I probably should start by breaking down the Borace, but I guess I'm still in shock that I see that's 100% borase. I've never seen that before. It was kind of blowing my mind. All right, so easy peasy at this point. We've just Lancet, Brant. Your instability is 0.71. It's really just a patience game at this point. Not getting too crazy with it, and just kind of riding it out. This was a 33%. Oh, is 18% worth mining? It depends on the mass. Once again, I mean, I have a golden rule. Where if I calculate it as more than 15 SCU, in the rock, sometimes, for the most part, I'll do it. I mean, now some people's thresholds are a little higher than that, and I totally would understand why. I'm actually going to do this borase first. But mine are, mine is, if it's over 15 SCU, I'll definitely crack it and take it in. I mean, that's over 100,000. Never a bad haul. Wow, I cannot. This is the craziest. I'm so glad I got this on the stream. A 334 pure borase. That's like the only time I've ever seen it. It's like a unicorn borase rock. That's just weird. I'm telling you, that's weird. Anytime that the instability is getting over 1.75, then I think it's a good idea to use a brand. And so most of the time when you have high value Quantanium, you'll see it's going to be a 2.5. Watch this one here. This is our rock here, I think. Watch, it'll be a 2.5 instability. When I put the laser on it, see, it starts at a 10. The Lancet will bring it down to 2.5. And then I'll build the energy into it. I'm getting a little, my effective range just a touch closer. I'll build energy into it. So a 4,900 at 18%, that's 180 mass for every 1,000. So that's certainly going to break, that's going to be like 900. It's going to be 18 SCU. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and that's a rough estimate. It's not going to be perfectly that. Now, it does depend how it breaks, but you could still get over 15 SCU with that particular one. So here I'm going to kind of bring it up closer to the optimal window. And then once I get close, oh, she jumped up really quickly there, so I fired the Brant. Notice how the Brant brings its instability down to 0.62. That just went from a 2.5 instability where that thing was going to swing wildly to a completely manageable 0.62. It just makes the job so much easier. Now it does take a little longer to get through the optimal window, but who cares? You normally, if you're good on it, and you got your head down and you're working hard, you actually usually can break 2 rocks with 1 Brant. Or get darn close. And usually that's my goal. So following the meta here, there was an 88%er, a 100% borase, and an 8. So I'm going to go ahead and you always break down the smallest percentage first, then move your way to the highest percentage, but then you scoop at the opposite. You scoop the highest percentage back to the lowest percentage. So I'm scooping now. I'm going to scoop this 100% up. I'm actually going to pick that borase up, and I'm actually going to process it. That's actually worth the money to do. And I've got the wiggle room for the Now, if you're choosing between Quantanium and borase, there's no, don't worry. You take Quantanium every time. Don't even think about it. So the good news is I know all these are 100%ers as well. So, good times. Good times, good times. So we're loading up on, we're grabbing a little borase because we found a 334 that was 100%, which I've never seen before. So we're gonna get 6 SCU of borase on board as well. And I'm not even gonna complain about it. I just love, that's actually a high value rock. I mean, nothing's as high value as Quantanium. But your Bexelite, Terranite, Laranite, Agricium, Hephaestonite's the lowest one, but then Borace is one that it always breaks in trash. So it's a really weird thing that you'd find that I've never seen a pure Borace rock. I've just never seen one. That's a 71%er there. So one of these was going to have less than 100%. I think this one's going to be 100%. Yep. So let's go ahead and get the 100%ers on board first, and then we'll top off with that 70. I do have a Discord. I am analytical number 8011, and you could certainly, hey, I guess I might have messed myself out of some Quantanium, but you know what? I don't even care. I'm so happy. As a miner, you do things all the time. It gets a little monotonous. When I seen that Borace, I don't know. I was taking it, man. I don't even feel like, I might have messed myself out of a little bit of money, but I don't even care. I'm a happy miner. So, but as far as Discord goes, I generally am on there just with the organization. But it's analytical number 8011 is my name, and you can absolutely invite me on Discord, and I am always happy to answer any questions you may have, or chit chat or hang out. I work from home, so I kind of keep an eye on Discord quite a bit, and yeah, it's Phenom, it's a really good idea. You really actually I'm actually going to start putting my Discord handle in my stream. That will make it a little bit easier for people, because I do, one of the things, I just love mining in Star Citizen. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy talking about it a ton. And I never seem to get enough opportunity to do this kind of stuff. So, in 2022, I'm going to be doing a lot of mining streams, like a ridiculous amount of them. I hope at least a couple a week, if not more. And it's never going to be much more than this, really. I know it's not the most high octane content, but I enjoy it. Now, sometimes it's going to be hand mining, sometimes it's going to be ROC mining. Occasionally, it might even be cargo hauling. It's usually going to be industrial stuff, and there may even be the occasional, getting rid of a crime stat or something, So, it's I enjoy doing this. It's fun. I love mining, and I like talking about it while I mine, and so yeah. So we're heading back to Arc L1. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that stuff in the hopper, and we're gonna sign off for the day. It's New Year's. Everybody should go out and have a good time, and I'm sure my family's out there right now going, "What is this? When is Papa gonna be done? When is he gonna be done with this crap?" So it's and that's reasonable. I know we've got some house to clean, some hors d'oeuvres to make, some nachos to prepare. We got a football game tonight. Michigan taking on Georgia. Go Blue. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So we started out the stream. We were right on a rock. We mined it. Is in the air in Halo. We flew back. We refined it. We flew back out to the air in Halo. We found the unicorn of all unicorns, which is a 334 mass Borace 100%. I've never seen one of those in 1 year of mining. We turned our nose down at Quantanium for the Borace happily. At least for a couple SCU. And we're flying back into Arc L1 and to kind of throw her in the refiner and call it good. So in we go. I usually cruise in around 200 or 300 or whatever. Hey, West, yes, absolutely, man. Go Blue for sure. I'm a Michigan guy myself, born and raised in Michigan now. So, yep, getting ready to watch the big game tonight. And so, absolutely go Blue. Hopefully we can push them around like we did Ohio State a little bit. Going to be a tough game, but I think we're going to get them tonight. So I want to be happy and confident, not cocky, happy and confident. I think we have, if anybody's, ever, watches anything with with Michigan football. It's been a rough ride for us. So we're kind of enjoying this a little bit. I mean, it's been a tough ride for a few years, maybe 2 decades. So yeah, obviously, winning it all is great, but just being there is, and having the experience is great, and it's good for the program. It's good for college football. I don't watch a whole lot of sports anymore. I still watch college football, and in Michigan, and but many times I watch it alone and shamed in my, in my living room, a brooding, angry Michigan fan. But it's been a much better year this year. It's been great to see Jimmy turn it around, and yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and drop this guy on the pad here, and run in and store it and call her good. Just want to bring her in nice and smooth. No hurry here. Now, if I offended any Georgia fans out there, hey, sorry about that. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to go? We haven't even had the first alarm go off. Easy peasy, smooth as silk. In we go. A lot of times I hear that first alarm go off somewhere between now and when I'm exiting the ship. It's uncanny. Am I going to hear it this time? I don't know. But we are exiting the ship now. We have, I think, 24 SCU on board. We found a 334 100% Boreas, and I took it because I've never seen one before, and I just thought it was funny to do. Got to break it up a little bit, have a little fun. 100% Boreas, I'm telling you, that's you see a lot of unicorns, but that was a unicorn, man. 100% 334 mass Boreas is, you just can't leave that out there for somebody else to find. Coffee was delicious today, but the company was better. I really appreciate, honestly, all the questions. I love interacting with people when it comes to Star Citizen and mining. One thing I'll say, my opinions are just my opinions. Absolutely do you, always. But, I've had the pleasure of learning from a few people along the way, and I hope that I passed on a little bit of knowledge to you today as well. I always think the best demonstration is kind of hands-on. So we got the prospector stored, and down we're gonna go. So, one of the things I will mention to anybody who's still hanging out is, my streams are going to be kind of family friendly. Not that I won't drop a cuss word here or there, but for the most part, it's going to be fairly safe for work. You know what I mean? I'm an older guy. I'm not real hyperbolic about things. We're mining. There might be the occasional rock that I blow up in my face, and we have a laugh about it. But that'll probably be the worst of it. And so we're on our way down to the refinery. We're gonna drop this guy in here, and we're gonna sign out and want everybody to have a safe holiday. That's the most important thing. Be safe out there for sure. Be responsible. Beautiful, beautiful Star Citizen. Alright, so we're going to start this work order. We're going to hit the Mist Prospector. We're going to set up our work order. We're absolutely doing our Boreas, and we're absolutely doing this Quantanium here. I'm calling this load a unicorn just because. You know what? Oh, I don't want to be thermomatic. I'm going to use the Dynex on it.
Pretty good selection.
Yeah, that's a done deal right there. So yeah, we're cooking pretty good here. We've got 60 there, 80. Let's see if we can get this guy to slide. Sometimes it's grumpy about sliding. 80. There's 110. Can I slide this guy more? There's a couple 65s in here after that. There's a 65, so 110, 175. There's 68. There's some math there. 75, so you got 25. Then there's another 100 there. Why don't we do it that way? So it was 175, 275. Then a couple more there. So 275, then a 295, then a little over 300 we're cooking. So not too bad. Yeah, you know what? Also with the surge modules, they'll fit good in backpacks. You know, I always throw them in my my ships. Westy was saying he just learned that he could fit 9 surge modules in a heavy backpack. You can fit those modules in backpacks. Sometimes they're a little grumpy about it. Sometimes they're not. But you can always fit them into your ship inventory. That's how I haul. I'll buy them, and then I'll throw them in my ship inventory, and then haul to the station I'm going to fly out of and drop them in my ship inventory, so I have a stockpile of them there. So, very, very good point, Westy. So, hey, everybody.
Everything all right?
I just, wanted to say, this was a great stream. I really enjoyed everybody's company. It's go out and have a lovely holiday. I wish you guys all the best. And take care of yourself, and I will see you all around the verse.